Welcome to My Long Island TV. From Manhasset to Montauk, we have traveled our communities to bring you the following events. I'm your host, Waldo Cabrera. My Long Island TV starts now.
I never thought it would be anything, I always wanted to kind of make my mark as a painter, but it seems that Frosty and all the other films and Unicorn, everything that I've worked on has more impact, has more volume of people that have seen it. When I came to New York, I started working for Pelican Films. I used to do commercials. I was an art director on commercials. And then I met Arthur Rankin and Joel Spass, and they were coming out with a film which was called Rudolph. They asked me to come in on it near the end of it. And then they came up with the project of, this before Frosty, we did a thing called Smokey the Bear. Then I came in on Frosty. A lot of it comes from the actors. You know, what's their input to it? What's the direction to it? So they come out, and then my job is to take it and really push that. You know, yeah, he's, you know, buoyant. What's he going to look like if he's buoyant? You know, I think I have a very tight shot of him, and he's rotating around. And then there's a shot where they're all dancing around him. And so they're all this kind of intercuts from different angles. Well, I'll start with my mother. My mother was drawing a picture of a house, and I was, you know, maybe 4 or 5 years old, and she handed it to me and she says, "What do you think?" And I looked at it and I says, "That's all wrong. There's no smoke coming out." And she got all upset and she says, "Well, you think you can do better?" She handed me that pencil. And that started me. I had studied drawing with a man called Don Duga, wonderful instructor. He really taught drawing, and he really got me to really understand what drawing was about. When I had graduated in 1959, abstract art was very big, and I was an abstract art painter at that point. And so I set up my loft. I was going to do that thing, and I went to see my old instructor, and I showing him my drawings, and he said, "Look, get paid for your drawings." And he sent me to UPA, which was a studio in Burbank, which was a break-off from Disney. These were the rebels. They did Mr. Magoo and things like that. And that's what I started on. My first film was Mr. Magoo. It's a very powerful thing to do. To create something like an animation is a very powerful thing to do. And this is Frosty here, of course. And, you know, there's the magician who I identified with because he was my favorite character. And the rabbits. And then down there, as you see, that's Little Drummer Boy, which was the only film that we ever got a nomination for an Emmy. And that one was Santa's Coming to Town. And this is, of course, from, again, the Heat Miser and Cold Miser. There was a kind of a frustration to me. I said, you know, I really like painting, and painting is direct. It's you and the canvas. It's not like a bunch of clients or a bunch of producers and trying to please. And you get good at pleasing a lot of people because, hey, you do this character, whether this guy wants this and that guy wants that, and you kind of blend it together and you make these things. We were just having a celebration of the Beatles, so I'm putting them in pointillism and fragmenting pictures of them. And on this one here, that's the classic Abbey Road walk. I like this one. It's just my interpretation of who Ringo Starr is, you know. So this is where he was a kid, this is where he looked in Sgt. Pepper, but everything kind of blended. And I try to use the color that would closest identify the kind of sound that they would represent. This is where I live on at Reeves Park, and this is the they're having a show here at the East End, which is a competition, and it's called Light. So I took this one and I just built the light out from this over the Long Island Sound. But this was an interview, an interesting interview, because she was a Spanish from Spain who wanted to do an article on me, and I said, okay, but I have to draw you while you interview me. In one scene here in the book, I actually went in a bar and I drew people in the bar, and then I asked them what they were thinking, and I put what they were thinking down with the picture. So I have a whole series of that. In fact, it's mandatory in my classes that my students carry a sketchbook, and that way I can look and see what they're doing, because I can see how they're thinking and how they're looking at things. And so a sketchbook is a very revealing kind of thing. So most of my students that come in, they do appreciate what we did, and they have found what I found, that there's a lot of life doing this kind of thing, and you get paid for it. So they found early on that this is something that they want to do. We're kind of a bridge. I consider myself an old-timer now, and not because I really am, but that because everyone else has died, I must be an old-timer. The act of making animation forces you to have to look at everything, so you constantly are looking at things. So you carry a sketchbook all the time, and you're always drawing, and you're always kind of seeing how things play, and you're looking for rhythms, and it's a wonderful life to live. I like it.